Welcome. It is Wednesday, March 5th, and today I want to talk some NFL. And I want to talk the Jamar Chase contract situation and the Bengals contract situations in general. Because as each day goes by, and most importantly today, the Bengals are losing out on money they could be saving to build their much needed defense. And today, it got even worse. Max Crosby, he just got himself paid 3 years, $106 million. Now he is making about $35 million per year, and he is the highest paid non-quarterback of all time. And you know who's looking for that title? You know who wants that title? And just smiled, cracked a big old fat smile filled with money behind it as that news broke? Jamar Chase. And you know who frowned? The Bengals, who are known to be cheap. A known thrifty franchise. They don't like to spend a lot of money. A known franchise, guess what? They just got a little bit more sad. Because Jamar Chase is looking for that title of highest paid non-quarterback of all time. So is Michael Parsons, but we're talking about the Bengals. He is looking for that title. He wants the title, and he deserves the title 100%. He has had his best season, and he has it in his whole career, 4 years career. No season under 1,000 yards. He was the best receiver in football last season. 1,708 yards, 127 receptions, 17 touchdowns. He had his best season of all time, his best season in his short career last season. And he was clearly the best receiver last season. And he helped that offense with Joe Burrow, who had his best year last season. So he deserves that money 100%. They already made a Super Bowl. You already know Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow are the future. But the Bengals have a real issue because Jamar Chase is looking for that title of highest paid non-quarterback of all time. Deserves that title 100%. He is looking for $40 million plus. That's what he deserves. He deserves everything that he wants because he is your franchise along with Joe Burrow. And to have two really, really, really good players, key players that you drafted and were also able to save money on because he was played 4 years on his rookie deal, which you were able to save money on because you didn't extend him last season. He 100% deserves the money that he wants. The goal in the NFL is to have your 4-year rookie play 4 years on his rookie contract so you could at least save money on that last year. Because if you extend him before his 4th year, you're paying him that mega amount, if he's really good, or that higher amount on that 4th season. But guess what? He was playing for $4 million last season, so you were able to save a lot of money. And that's the Bengals. They're cheap. They're thrifty. They don't, happiness, saving money, hopefully they'll pay him anyways. But the Bengals, out of all teams, though, Jamar Chase isn't the only player looking for that money. It's Michael Parsons also, who also deserves that money on the Cowboys. We're talking about the Bengals here. The Bengals have 3 crazy contract situations because Trey Hendrickson is also looking to get paid. Defensive end for the Bengals, who probably, you can argue, had a better season than Max Crosby. Then you have T. Higgins, who just recently got franchise tagged. So next year, he's been franchise tagged 2 years in a row. Next year, he's going to be looking for a payday, and he's going to get it guaranteed because he's going to be a free agency straight out, no matter what, after next season. Now, the Jamar Chase situation is crazier because he wants $40 million plus. And you could have got this done last season. I know I'm talking about saving money, but you could have saved, the Bengals could have saved so much money for the future and have been able to maybe even retain both T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. And at this point, I don't believe that they're going to be able, and they should, keep both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins on the same team, especially with that defense. That defense is awful. But last year, you could have gotten Jamar Chase. You could have signed Jamar Chase, extended him for $32 million about. You could have gave him lesser money than, you could have given him right around the same amount of money as Justin Jefferson, who got about 35 last season. But now, Max Crosby's getting 35. So now Jamar Chase is going to, and should, and is worth $40 million a year. You could have had Jamar Chase for cheaper. And then T. Higgins, you could have signed him 2 years ago for cheaper. There has been nothing that changed in both of these guys that tell you that they're not consistent and that they are not key guys. Now, Jamar Chase is obviously way better than T. Higgins. Yes, T. Higgins succeeds off of Jamar Chase being the the eyes of the defense, drawing the eyes of the opposing defense. But they're still really, really good guys, and they're key. They were key to getting you to the Super Bowl. So young in your team, your core. This core got to the Super Bowl very, very young. And we're going to get to the reason they made that Super Bowl and why they are not going. They didn't go to the playoffs this year, and why they are just taking a step back since that Super Bowl run. But you could have saved a lot of money signing these guys way earlier, 2 seasons ago, a season ago. Now, I talked about saving money, yes, on the rookie deal, but it's all about making your star player happy. You got to get him what he wants. He's gonna want it eventually, or he's gonna end up walking. And you need to get this deal done sooner because there's Michael Parsons out there looking for that title. Max Crosby was looking for the title. He got the title. For now, it's a temporary. He's the interim champion of non-quarterback contracts. Max Crosby is currently the interim champion. He's going to get his belt stolen sooner or later. But you need to get this contract done sooner if you're the Bengals. It gets more and more expensive as you wait, and I don't understand how the Bengals still have not learned their lesson. You've waited last season. Jamar Chase, we didn't even know if he was going to play week 1. He ended up playing week 1. We did not know if he was going to play week 1 because of the contract situation. Well, guess what? He played the whole season and had his best season of his career. Proved you wrong. He proved to you that you should have signed him for that $32 million you possibly could have had him for. Or that $35 million you could have had him for. Now you got to give him $40 over 5 years. Or it's not there. And they did offer him a good amount of money last season. There was a report. But the structure of the deal was off. They didn't offer him a proper structure for the deal. So that's going to be difficult. Now, what do the Bengals do with this whole contract situation? They franchise tag T. Higgins. He's going to be a free agent next year, guaranteed. They have Jamar Chase. They need to pay him. They should pay him. That should be guaranteed. Not an issue. Unless they trade. I mean, honestly, here's what I'm going to get into anyways. You have to trade T. Higgins. Or you could even trade Jamar Chase. You get a big haul for him, like the Tyreek Hill haul. Hope you rebuild properly. You have Joe Burrow. So it's not that hard to move off of Jamar Chase, even though, the friendship is there, the connection is there, and you haven't seen Joe Burrow without Jamar Chase. That's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. You have to rely on Joe Burrow, but he's definitely a really, really good Hall of Fame quality quarterback. But here's what I'm getting to here. The defense. Complete and utter concern for the Bengals. That is the reason they have not found the success they found in 2022 when they made the Super Bowl against the Rams. They lost the Super Bowl. Their defense, all those guys are gone now, and the defense fell off. The defense has fallen off. They hired Al Golden now as their defensive coordinator. But here's the defensive stats and this is why they didn't make the playoffs. Basically, despite their offensive players having a season of for their careers, their defense 25th in points per game, 25th in yards per game, 25th in points per play, 17th in yards per play, 23rd in third down conversions, 30th in red zone scoring, and 28th in touchdowns per game. Awful. 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 For a defense that was pretty damn good leading that team to the playoffs and during that playoff run to the Super Bowl. It's an issue. So you know what you do? You trade. You have to get rid of T. Higgins. Because if you learn anything from previous seasons, I mean, they haven't because they still haven't signed their players before this next season when they're up for even more money. If you can learn anything besides signing your players early, don't let your players walk for free. Because Jesse Bates, you know what they did? They let him walk for free and they're regretting it. They let him go for nothing. They let him go play for the Falcons. He had a great year and they didn't get anything in return. So T. Higgins, the Bengals, you're cheap. You know that you have to sign Jamar Chase for $40 million, damn near. It's honestly time to move off of T. Higgins now. Trade him. Get assets. And build that defense. That defense. The offense needs to rely on a good defense. You can have a great offense. You still need a good defense to win. And that's what the Bengals are missing. Yes, you can have Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, but without the defense, this team ain't going nowhere. And they ain't going to the playoffs. And that happened this season with T. Higgins. So that's really the issue. T. Higgins is a really good player, but you got to move off of him. You got to move off of one of these guys. And especially if you want to slide Trey Hendrickson, you have to move off of T. Higgins or Jamar Chase. You don't really want to move off Jamar Chase at all. He's a generational talent. He's a Hall of Famer guaranteed. Move off T. Higgins, who's due for a lot of money, but you probably don't want to pay him all that money. because you don't know if it's just a Jamar Chase. So you could just have Jamar Chase, have someone else, and maybe they'll give you some good production, quality production for their contract, instead of having a T. Higgins who's going to be making $30 million. You have to trade T. Higgins, trade him to a team that wants him. He's going to be a hot commodity. Teams want receivers. And rebuild that defense through the draft, a couple draft picks, a second round, fourth round, get some draft picks for T. Higgins, and you get cap space to sign some defenders because you need a defense to win. The Bengals are honestly a mess right now with great players. They're a mess. They're a creative mess. You know, you have all the pieces everywhere, but you have to put them together, and you have to make sure that they can actually fit. I mean, they can fit, but you got to make sure that it works. Because if this defense isn't going to get you anywhere, you need to rebuild defense. T. Higgins, you can't keep Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, in my opinion, if you're the Bengals at all. Chase is the key priority right now. Get that done. And also, DK Metcalf is on the trade block. I almost forgot. DK Metcalf on the trade block. Chargers are favorites to land him. That favorites crap is, I don't even pay attention to it no more. I see it, I don't pay attention to it no more. Because Miami Heat, favorites to land the whole NBA. The whole All-NBA team is Heat are favorites to land. And guess who they landed? Nobody. Zero. Landed nobody. Don't pay attention to that. DK Metcalf is also trying to go to a team, get some protection, get himself paid. Shouldn't get himself paid. He's not a Jamar Chase. He's more of a T. Higgins. I think T. Higgins might be better than DK Metcalf after this season. So, T. Higgins or Jamar Chase. The Bengals had to choose one. It's obviously Jamar Chase. Get him paid and fix that defense. That's really what the Bengals need to do. I feel like I repeated myself a million times during this, but this is something I really wanted to talk about. I haven't got to talk about. I want to talk about NFL in the offseason. We're going to get free agencies coming up. We're going to get to that. But I really wanted to talk NFL. I've been talking NBA. It's got my brain hurting. NBA, Luka. Please subscribe. We're going to have more NFL talk coming up. And some more NBA talk, of course, because it's the NBA season. My favorite season. But I love NFL free agency and draft season. So we're going to have more NFL talk coming up. Subscribe, like, do what you got to do. Leave a comment. I don't care. Just do something.